Um, the Brugmansia is related to Datura, sometimes called tree Datura, and it contains scopolamine, which as the main active chemical. Scopolamine is oftentimes used in modern medicine as an anti-nausea drug for seasickness or nausea in general. However, among Amazonian peoples, it is used as a deliriant hallucinogen, oftentimes used when other less powerful plants have failed. One of the Machinga that I work with in Manu National Park, named Don Alberto, the shaman, this girl in the local town tried to commit suicide. And he did a number of sessions of ayahuasca with her. I think he was taking the ayahuasca, but not her, and she was never getting better. So finally he decided he was going to take Toei, Brugmansia, and he said that he went down into the spirit world and retrieved her soul and put it back in her body. But he said this is very dangerous because if you can't find the way back to your own body, you'll either go crazy or die. So pretty dangerous plant, really powerful, but highly revered by Amazonian people. This is one that I would definitely, absolutely discourage you from using. It's very dangerous. If you take too much, you just die. Another one, chiri senango. So chiri means cold, chiri chiri in Quechua, and senango is like thing that heals. So chiri senango is, I don't know why, but it's said to induce visions of naked ladies. That's just what I've been told. I've never done it. A very interesting thing about it, it's said to treat things like rheumatoid arthritis and sort of diseases with lots of inflammations. I have the mother of a friend of mine in Terapoto. She's a very Christian lady that's not into any sort of this weird stuff, and but she takes chiri senango one time a year, and it stops her rheumatoid arthritis for the entire year. And for about 36 hours, she feels intoxicated and has to lay in the bed, but it cures her rheumatoid arthritis for a whole, well, it doesn't cure, it treats her rheumatoid arthritis for a whole year. And then the next 12 months later, she'll have to take it again. But to me, very interesting that one dose for 12 months is efficient. So yeah, chiri senango, another important plant, also pretty dangerous, but not quite as dangerous as the other.
Wait, is chiri senango illegal?
Illegal?
Yeah.
No. I don't think we've talked about anything that's illegal. These are, okay, so with ayahuasca, for example, the plants are legal. You could own that plant right there and that plant. If you, in the United States I'm talking, if you make it into a tea, that tea is a DMT container, so then it's illegal. However, there are a number of churches in the United States that have got permission from, I don't know if it's the DEA or who it is, but they've gotten basically religious exemption to use ayahuasca legally in the United States. Those are usually Santo Daime and Una de Vegetal, which are Christian organizations. They take ayahuasca and pray to Jesus, and it's a mix of the ancient and Christianity, ancient ayahuasca tradition and Christianity. So we have Richard Evan Schultes here, the father of modern ethnobotany, saying, one wonders how people in primitive societies with no knowledge of chemistry or physiology ever hit upon a solution to the activation of an alkaloid by monoamine oxidase inhibitor. Pure experimentation? Perhaps not. So ayahuasca is a compound drug. It contains the ayahuasca vine, which is Banisteriopsis caapi. So the vine itself is referred to as ayahuasca, as is the brew ayahuasca. But the brew ayahuasca contains the ayahuasca vine and typically Psychotria species, which is in the Rubiaceae family, the coffee family, or Diploptera species, which is in the Malmagaceae family, the same family as ayahuasca. These two contain DMT, and the ayahuasca contains MAOIs, monoamine oxidase inhibitors, which they inhibit enzymes in your stomach that then allows the DMT to pass into your blood and onto the brain. If you were to ingest Psychotria or Diplopteras on their own without the vine, it would probably just make you puke and not do anything else. You require the MAOIs in your system to inhibit your gut from breaking down the DMT. So yeah, ayahuasca is used by hundreds of native groups in the Amazon. As we talked about before, the Shipibo, the Machinga, many different groups, and it's been used The number they throw out is 10,000 years. However, there isn't any real evidence for that, like there is with San Pedro in the cave of the Guitarrero. I don't know where they get that number exactly. I mean, maybe that's a good guess, but as far as I'm aware, there's no real evidence, like physical evidence, an archaeological site or something like that, that we can point to show us how long ayahuasca's been used. But we do know it has been used for a very long time. In Machinga, it's known as kamarampi, which means death vomiting medicine, which sounds like fun. It's used to heal everything from depression to very serious illnesses in the Amazon. And it's typically only taken when there's an issue. It's not just taken, sometimes it is taken sort of frivolously and just for fun, but usually it's taken with very serious intent to treat a serious illness. Yeah, so that's ayahuasca. And in recent years, it has become very popular, especially in Iquitos. Iquitos is very famous for the ayahuasca. I would suggest being very careful if you do go to Iquitos. I've heard some funky kind of stories from there. But yeah, as long as it's not mixed with other drugs, it's quite safe. However, it can be extremely dangerous if the worst would be SSRI antidepressants because of the MAOI. That could cause some serious issues. In the Amazon, it's usually used with a diet, a dieta, where they sort of limit the foods they eat. For the Machinga, one of the most important taboos is you don't eat the male red howler monkey because he's a shaman and he'll curse you if you eat him and then take ayahuasca. But there's all the various tribes have different rules and taboos and things you do when taking ayahuasca, but they all vary. Like I asked the Machinga, can I eat salt? And they're like, why can't you eat salt? What's wrong with you? Because I had heard that from so many people. There's something sort of now that I call the gringo tradition, which is like the tradition in Iquitos, and they've sort of compiled a list from every tribe, and now everything's taboo. You can't eat anything, basically, except like white rice. But the native people, in some cases, are not as strict, and in some cases, they're very strict. It depends on which tradition and which tribe you were using ayahuasca with. Erythroxylum coca, the coca leaf, which there's a bag of on the table there. There are 4 main species and subspecies of coca. There's E. coca, variation coca, E. coca, variation ipidu. The word ipidu it's the Colombian coca. I believe they toast the coca over a fire and then they throw it in a rosewood mortar. And 2 guys will just sit there and grind it. And they add some yipta, the ground ashes, and then turn it into a powder and put that powder in their mouth. And that powder is known as ipidu. Erythroxylum nova granitans is the one that Coca-Cola uses to flavor Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has a monopoly on importing coca leaves, and they remove the cocaine, which they sell to pharmaceutical companies, and then use, I'm sure, a very, very small amount because it's probably expensive. But coca extract without cocaine is still in Coca-Cola today. In Bolivia, there's one called Coca-Cola. Coya means princess in Quechua. And it contains the full extract of the coca leaf. So it contains small amounts of cocaine. The coca leaf contains about 16 different alkaloids, chemicals. It's extremely high in calcium and was a very important part of the Andean diet. Basically, one of the only things lacking from the Andean diet was calcium, which they got from the coca leaf. It does contain the alkaloid cocaine. I was having a debate with a friend the other day whether or not you would actually test positive for cocaine on a drug test if you're using coca. He thinks no, and I think yes. However, it's very, very different from powdered cocaine, which I think is a menace to society. But I think coca is a very, very positive thing. It's a fairly mild stimulant, gets rid of hunger, gives you a bit of energy, and not much more. It's not that powerful. But extremely important to the Incas and the Quechua people. It is a sacred plant to them. And to this day, it's used all around the Andes